at the center of our nation for wolf battles.
Another hearing, another unique priority for Republican Lauren Boebert: wolves.
Typically, when these dangerous predators attack, they kill. And wolves don't just kill animals, they kill people as well. From 2002 to present day, approximately 500 people have been attacked by wolves, with nearly 30 of these attacks resulting in human deaths.
I would request unanimous consent to enter an article from wolf.org, which does a little deeper dive into some of the data you just cited, noting that of the 26 fatal wolf attacks around the world during that 20-year period, there was only one in the United States.
Oh, one U.S. fatality from wolves over 20 years. Lauren Boebert was fact-checked in real time and got humiliated. Talk about embarrassment. But it's not just about getting the facts wrong with her. When was the last time Lauren Boebert was so focused or so concerned about gun violence or mass shootings or kids killed in an elementary school? Oh, that's right. Guns are not a problem in the world of Lauren Boebert. Wolves are a problem.
Carlos Anticio in Walden, Colorado. He has a rescue dog here, Scooby-Doo. Well, Scooby-Doo, his cattle dog, and Buster were both killed by wolves. Scooby-Doo had his stomach ripped out and wide open.
I mourn the loss of Scooby-Doo and Buster. They were clearly beloved cattle dogs, loyal, diligent, innocent. But these were dogs killed by wolves. And again, over the last 20 years, wolf violence in the United States has killed just one human being. In the first 3 months of 2023, gun violence killed more than 9,000 Americans, including more than 300 teenagers and children. Did Lauren Boebert ever take congressional committee time to show the photos of those children or tell their story? Did she describe in graphic detail what happens to a child's body when it is hit by a bullet fired from an assault weapon? Lauren Boebert's hypocrisy and detachment from reality are horrifying. Not only are there fewer U.S. human deaths from wolves every decade than guns every day, there are also fewer humans killed by wolves than killed by hammers.
Are we going to start legislating that away? Are we going to be like these other countries who even ban knives? I mean, if hammers are the cause of more death than firearms, then maybe we need to start having background checks on hammers. I mean, look out, Black & Decker. We're already coming after manufacturers for firearms. Maybe you're next.
Actually, we have more firearm deaths than hammers, but it does seem like every time Lauren Boebert gives an interview or speaks at a committee hearing, the hashtag that goes viral is Lauren Boebert is so dumb. Because more often than not, Boebert is wrong on the basic facts. Around the same time that Boebert was making wolves a top concern at that committee hearing, she also expressed concern in another hearing about public peeing in Washington, D.C., and she got shamed.
Did you lead the charge to decriminalize public urination in Washington, D.C.?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever vote in favor of decriminalizing public urination in Washington, D.C.?
Criminal code that was
Did
passed by
you
the
ever
council
support?
kept it as a criminal offense.
We have records that show that you were in favor of removing that criminal offense and allowing public urination.
No,
Is that something that you intend to pursue in the future?
No, the legislation you're referring to that came from the Criminal Code Reform Commission changed public urination from a criminal to a civil offense. The council then changed that to maintain it as a criminal offense at the request of the mayor.
Thank you. I yield.
Hey, Lauren, let me tell you a secret. In Washington, D.C.'s Rock Creek Park, where some people have been known to pee, there are also wolves. Be careful.
Mayor Bowser, is the District of Columbia more dangerous during your tenure?
Congresswoman, as you have heard, we have experienced over the last 10 years decreases in violent crime, all categories of crime. You also heard me talk about in my testimony, especially in the last 3 years, being very concerned.
What about since last year, Mayor?
What about it?
Is it more dangerous this year than it was last year?
I'm going to
Because
ask the chief to give you the
I'm asking you,
data.
Mayor, because I see that crime is up 27%. That doesn't sound like a decrease to me.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and in a clash of styles on the House floor recently, Lauren Boebert took the prize for most annoying as she interrupted her guest for 5 straight minutes.
I've advocated for more police every day as mayor of the District of Columbia. When I became mayor, we were facing a retirement bubble, and we set a course at that time for hiring and retention.
Do you believe that Washington, D.C. would be safer and more secure if you hired more police officers rather than decreasing the number of recruitment by 200?
We're not decreasing recruitment.
Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser was the target of Republicans on the House Committee on Oversight and Reform Tuesday morning. GOP jackalons like Lauren Boebert and other Republicans spent most of the proceedings criticizing U.S. Attorney for D.C. Matthew Graves and questioning Mayor Bowser on crime and policing. The Colorado bowling alley queen looked like a venomous little spider as she tried to weave her web of deception while questioning Mayor Bowser. Dingbat Boebert wouldn't let Mayor Bowser answer any of her idiotic questions before interrupting her with another one.
And so it has been my experience in the last 8 years that we have had to use more incentives, and we have investigated and researched what it's going to take to attract young people to come into policing. One thing that we have done in the district, for example, is to create a police academy that we're very proud of. Chief Conte, in fact, joined the police academy when he was 17 years old and rose through the ranks to be chief
I don't
of
need to hear
police.
about childhood issues here.
Well,
so,
this is how we get
defund the
police.
police signs around District of Columbia and advocating for this
I didn't advocate to
incentivizing?
defund the police.
But you did defund them.
I
$15
did-
million
I did
budget
not-
cut.
I did
$15
not
million
defund the
budget
police.
cut. And
This constant antagonistic prodding by the Colorado crackpot eventually prompted Mayor Bowser to stop and tell Boebert that she was not going to speak over her. Dingbat Boebert harassed the mayor with false claims and accusations about escalating violence in the city and defunding the D.C. Police Department for her full 5 minutes.
Madam Mayor, what would you say to the law-abiding citizens here in Washington, D.C., who, because of policies you've supported, are unable to defend themselves with this rise in crime? Crime being up 27%.
Congresswoman, I don't have to come to here to talk to you, to talk to the residents of the District of Columbia. I talk to them daily. I have press
And what
conferences.
do you say to these law-abiding citizens?
What I tell them is that as their mayor, regardless of what's happening nationally, regardless of what's happening in our very complicated criminal justice system, as their mayor, I am charged with making it work. And if that means
working?
it is, I am charged with making it work. And what I have
Do you think that you're doing a good job with that? Because I'm seeing that crime is up, violent crime is up, homicides are up, police funding is down, police recruitment is down. So is it working?
Every day, we approach any vexing issue in our city, crime being among them, police recruitment being
Madam
among
Mayor, my time is up, but you know exactly what you need to make Washington, D.C. safer. You know that you need more police officers. You know that you need more funding. You know that you need policies that allow law-abiding citizens. Thank you, ma'am. It's my time.
Boebert tried to bully the mayor over safety in the city, and she noted that the nation is more dangerous with more guns, but Boebert quickly cut her off.
Remember Lauren Boebert? Whatever happened to her? Well, things aren't going well.
If you're going to take care of folks, like what about our veterans, Lauren? Because you're talking about lots of cuts and how to pay for things. I think if you're going to be America first, you can't put veterans last. So I do just want to point to your vote that you voted against care for veterans exposed to cancer-causing toxins and burn pits during war. So we definitely have different priorities, because I believe we should take care of our veterans, always.
In case you haven't been following the news about her, she had to change districts to run in this upcoming election because of a fiasco that happened in a theater where she was groping on her boyfriend and vaping in front of pregnant women. And anyway, but that's the least of her problems.
Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert yelled out that Biden had put service members in coffins. She referenced the 13 service members who were killed during that ugly withdrawal from Afghanistan last summer. What was your response to that moment?
I'm going to speak plainly, Jake. She's an idiot, all right? And yes, I said that. She cannot even equate that to what we're talking about right now. Those service members who served their country honorably and died in service when, what happened in Afghanistan happened, they were doing their duty. President Biden had nothing to do with that.
Yep, Lauren Boebert's lack of respect for others is starting to really hurt her because more and more people are realizing what a bad person she really is.
Hey, there's a lot of survivors over there if you want to.
Survivors of gun violence if you want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Survivors from Uvalde, Parkland. You don't really care?
It's all right. My son died for you to just go do that.
I heard you're going to be a grandmother.
Mass shooting survivors, veterans, immigrants, she spits on them all. She's got no respect. She's got no intelligence. And it's starting to come through that this is how MAGA actually thinks. And remember that political stunt that Trump did at Arlington Cemetery? Guess who did it first?
Please join me today to honor and remember all of our military heroes who died while serving our country. We will never be able to thank them or honor them enough for making the ultimate sacrifice to defend us and our freedom. On this Memorial Day, God bless our nation's fallen heroes. God bless each and every one of you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
There she is using Arlington Cemetery for a political stunt to say that she supports the troops and she respects the troops, when in reality we come to find out that they being the GOP, does not really support the troops because they seem to keep voting against things that are in the interests of veterans. So they talk a big game, but then when it comes time to actually help out veterans, they don't really do much. We also know their leader, Donald Trump, famously has called soldiers fools for signing up. Why would they do it? He badmouthed John McCain, who was a war hero. He continues to do things that are basically disrespectful to the military. Even Arlington Cemetery, we know that the family of the soldier that was killed, one of the soldiers that was killed in Afghanistan, asked him to be a part of that ceremony, but there was other families that did not want their son or daughter's death to be politicized. And so Arlington Cemetery, especially where they were, is a sacred place. It's not supposed to be used for political purposes, and yet Donald Trump did. There's Lauren Boebert doing it. They talk about they want to stop gun violence and shootings in schools. So they say, oh, let's put more armed guards in schools. Let's arm teachers. And then when Lauren Boebert had a chance to go and talk to survivors of Uvalde and Parkland, she didn't even have the decency to go over there and say, hey, my condolences and my heart goes out to you, and I will do things to try and fix this. So in reality, what we come to find out is MAGA is a big grievance community. They have a lot of grievances. Taxes are high and the Chinese are taking over, and we need to support our veterans, and we need to fix the school shootings and all that stuff. But they don't have any solutions, and they certainly don't have any empathy for any of these people. And we keep seeing it over and over again. This most recent shooting that just happened in Georgia, what do we send? We send thoughts and prayers. Do we have actually any solutions? Not really. They say the solution is a good guy with a gun. Really? We saw that in Uvalde. It did not work. How about some common sense gun control? How about getting rid of this assault rifle, the AR-15, that really is not needed in our day and age and in our world? We need to have some common sense. Even gun owners that are responsible gun owners agree that common sense gun control is a good thing. And yet we've got people like Lauren Boebert who just talks a big game, but really doesn't have any solutions. She's really not that smart. I mean, she's not smart at all. And that's what the problem is when you get people coming in on grievance culture into Congress, you end up with some really not high-level thinkers. Think Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, even your Ted Cruz's. These guys are all thinking based on their ideals and their beliefs, which are not logical. Just because you have a belief that you say, oh, I don't agree, I think women should not be allowed to have an abortion. Well, if you look at the statistics, first of all, a majority of Americans support a woman's right to choose. And furthermore, if you look at the statistics, it's actually, in the long run, it actually is a good option to have for some women who medically might need it, or some families who might not be ready to have a child, and yet these people are all basing their beliefs and everything that they base in terms of their thoughts are all based on these my ideals. And the same thing goes for their support of the troops, their support of veterans, which they talk a big game, but they don't deliver when it comes time to vote. She voted against that the relief for the burn victims. They talk about their support of the blue, the cops. And then you go, well, what about January 6th when these people attacked the police at the Capitol? You would think that as a country we could agree on the fact that attacking the Capitol is a bad thing. They would distance themselves from January 6th, and that they don't. They've taken that whole narrative and turned it around. Now those guys are hostages. Now those guys are, I can't wait till they start calling them, saints or whatever. It's really, if you start breaking it down, you realize that MAGA really does not have any solutions. They just have complaints. And Lauren Boebert is a perfect example. And again, finally, people are catching on. Even people in our own district are starting to go, oh, this lady doesn't do much for us. If you're in Lauren Boebert's district, or if you're in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, if you're in Jim Jordan's district, look and see what they've done for you. Did they vote for the infrastructure bill that's going to help your district? No, they didn't. And yet they come around, they take credit for anything good that happens in their district. You have a bunch of people that really are not serious folks that are trying to have power in Washington. And what are they going to do for you? I really don't know. And it starts at the top. Donald Trump, he's got a bunch of ideas that really are nonsensical. His latest idea of, watch the video of him talking about how he's going to pay for childcare by putting tariffs on imports from other countries, is just nonsensical. And in the end, by the way, if you think your paycheck isn't going far enough right now, wait till Donald Trump puts those tariffs on those countries and see who ends up paying for those tariffs. You think putting tariffs on China, China just absorbed the cost? You think that the companies absorb the cost? No, they pass it down to you. So on every issue that you look at, these people are totally useless. And it starts with Donald Trump and it goes down the line. And I'm showing you Lauren Boebert because I want you to see someone who is starting to be found out slowly. Now, it's possible this new district that she's gone into doesn't know enough about her, and maybe they buy into the grievances and they vote for her. But I feel bad for that district if they do that. So with that said, please do a little bit of research. Go online before you vote. Make sure you're voting for someone who's doing something for you. All right, helping bring the costs down, helping bring your medical costs down, like Biden did when he negotiated prices for some of the medicines, and continuing to talk to health insurance companies about bringing down prices, like Biden did when he passed the infrastructure bill. So look at all that stuff. Look at what Kamala's going to do for you. Look at what Trump's going to do for you, and vote accordingly. Trump is getting ready to just make this into a dictatorship. Project 2025 will show you that if you read that. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I know I'm giving you homework assignments. It's hot here in California. Global warming. How about doing something about that? Climate change. How about doing something about that? Anyway, I gave you a lot this time. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I have a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Check it out. If you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. I'm going to go jump in some water.